sit.
Good morning. My name is Trần, Hoàng, and today I will talk about chapter 18. My part will be multiple discriminant analysis. Now first, let's start off with the steps to analyze the multiple discriminants. We have total 5 steps, and now let's jump into the first step, formulate problem. In the last column of this table, the households are classified into 3 categories: high, medium, and low. And the question is whether the households that spend high, medium, or low amounts on their vacation, which is amount, can be differentiated in terms of annual family income, travel, importance attached to family vacation, household size, and the age of the head of household. And next, let's jump into the step 2, discriminant function coefficients. So the group means indicate that income appears to separate the groups more widely than other variables. And there is some separation on travel and vacation, while group 1 and group 2 are very close in terms of household size and age. And the pooled within groups correlation matrix indicates that some correlation of vacation and household size with the income, as you can see here. And the age has some negative correlation with travel. And income and travel are significant in differentiating between the 2 groups. As you can see, the significance is lower than 0.05, which is good enough. And because there are 3 groups, the maximum of 2 functions can be extracted. So the eigenvalue associated with the first function is 3.82, nearly 3.82. And this function accounts for 93.93% of the explained variance. Because of the eigenvalue is so large, the first function is likely to be superior. And the second function has the smaller eigenvalue, and it accounts for only 6.07% of the explained variance. And now let's learn about step 3, significance of discrimination function. So to test the null hypothesis of equal group centroids, both the functions must be considered simultaneously. And it is possible to test the means of the function by first testing all the means simultaneously, and then one function is excluded at a time, and all the means of the remaining functions are tested at each step. And in this table, the 0 below the active functions removed indicates that there are no functions have been removed. And the value of Wilks is this number, and this transforms to the chi-square with the degree of freedom and the significance, which is lower than 0.05 level, which contributes significantly to the group differences. And however, you can see in the row below, when the first function is removed, the width associated with the second function is lower, is higher, and the significance is higher than 0.05, and therefore the second function does not contribute significantly to the group differences. And now let's jump into the step 4. So the interpret results, and the interpretation of the results is added by the examination of the standardized discriminant function coefficients, the structured correlations, and the certain plots. The standardized coefficients indicate a large coefficient for income on function 1, whereas the function 2 has a larger coefficients for travel, vacation, age, and household size. And to help interpret the functions, variables with large coefficients for a particular function are grouped together, and these groupings are shown with the asterisks right here. And thus, the income and household size that have asterisks for function 1, because these variables have locations that are larger for function 1 than for function 2. And these variables are associated primarily with the function 1. And yeah, you can see travel, location, and age are associated with the function 2, as indicated by the asterisk. And this figure is a scattergram plot of all the groups on function 1 and 2. And it can be seen that group 3 has the highest value. Group 3 is here. Group 3 has the highest value, while group 1 has the lowest value. And because function 1 is primarily associated with income and household size, those with higher incomes and higher household size are likely to spend larger amounts of money on vacation. And vice versa. This interpretation is further strengthened by the examination of group means on income and household size. While this figure indicates that function 2 has a separation groups, like this, group 2 has the lowest value and group 1 has the highest value. Highest value is group 1. And this function is primarily associated with travel, location, and age. So given us positive correlations of these variables with function 2 in the structure matrix, we expect to find that group 1 to be higher than group 2 in terms of travel, location, and age. But whether with higher travel, higher vacation will lead to the higher amounts of money the family spends on vacation. Well, maybe perhaps they would like to spend more on vacation but cannot afford it because they have low incomes. And the territorial map is like this graph. It's a tool of assessing the discriminant analysis results that plots the group membership of each case on the graph. And in this graph, in this territorial map, each group centroid is indicated by an asterisk, and the group boundaries are shown by the numbers corresponding to the groups. And now, let's jump into the last step, which is validity of discriminant analysis. So the classification results based on the analysis sample indicate that 86.7% correctly classified and leave one out. Cross-validation correctly classifies on only 66.7% of the cases. When the classification analysis is conducted on the independent holdout sample of the previous table, a hit ratio of 75% is obtained, and given the three groups of equal size, by chance alone, one would expect a hit ratio of 33.3%, and the improvement over chance is greater than 25%, indicating at least satisfactory validity. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.